everyone. Welcome to our first episode ever of the Criminal Defense Show. Today, joining us, we have Nathan Reynolds. He is our expert in all things criminal defense marketing and also our resident foodie. This guy knows about fermenting foods, cooking amazing steaks, taking great bubble baths. He is a well-rounded human being, as you can see.
Hey guys.
We also have Victor Revill. He is a criminal defense attorney located in Birmingham, Alabama, who not only loves dogs, loves video games, but is also a highly successful attorney and just an all-around good guy. I'm really excited for everyone to meet him and hear the wisdom that he's going to impart on all of you today.
I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm glad to be here. And I think this will be great.
Glad to have both of you guys. Well, welcome, gentlemen. Let's get started with our very first episode of our show here. Today, what we're going to be talking about, obviously, we're going to cover a lot of different topics, but our primary topic we want to talk about are partnerships, business partnerships, marketing partnerships, and, how those play into the whole picture of your law practice. Before we get, into that, I wanted to talk to you, Victor, a little bit and get a little bit of info about your background and how you got into criminal defense.
Sure. So I'm from Albany, Georgia. I learned at an early age that I wanted to be an attorney. When I was coming up, I always liked to talk. I always liked to talk a lot. And people used to tell me, like, you should be an attorney. You like to talk a lot. You should be an attorney. And so by 8th grade, I knew I wanted to be an attorney. I actually, when I was a senior in high school, I had recorded this video. I went on this morning talk show, and this lady asked me, she said, Victor, so what do you want to do? What are your plans? And I said, I'm going to go to college, play football, major political science, become a lawyer. And that's exactly what I did. So I've always liked this helping people. I always liked being kind of a voice for the voiceless. And then doing criminal defense work, that's just, I'm a Black man in America. And so I see the disparities, I see injustices, and I see the need for a strong voice to represent different sections of our society. I mean, I represent, everyone. But I see the need for just a strong voice, and it brings me joy to help those type of people out. So yeah.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of people who will relate to that too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, obviously our focus for today's episode is marketing partnerships. So I wanted to go into a little bit about defining a partnership. What do we mean when we say that word partnership in the world of marketing? So first, let's start thinking about good partnerships versus bad partnerships. Victor, have you had an experience on either end of that spectrum?
Yeah, I think partnerships in business is just like partnership in our personal lives, and everybody got to carry their weight. If you have, say, for instance, a marriage, and one partner is not carrying their weight, then that marriage is going to most likely end in a divorce. It's going to be over with. I think it's kind of you gotta match your yin to someone else's yang, as they say. And in the game of business, in the game of life, in the game of Halo, the object is to win. At the end of the day, we want to win. And you got to have a good partner that can match you to win. And you got to be perfect. Do you have to have all the strengths? No, but a good partner has the strengths to match your weaknesses. And I relate that back to Scorpion. Like, if with you all handling all of my IT stuff and all my internet stuff. Like, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about internet marketing. I don't know anything about PPC. I don't know anything about Facebook and all these other social media things. But that's my weakness. So that's why I come to you all.
Yeah, finding that balance and everyone bringing their own unique strengths to the table, you make that stronger unit. And just having that really good relationship, to where they're coming to you with all their questions, and both people are bringing their own individual pools of knowledge to the table to make that business succeed. What do you think it's all about, Nate?
Well, for me, it's funny when you say partnership, I get kind of jittery. And I think back to my college years of when, you're in chem lab and you're like, oh, you got to partner up with someone. And it meant like, oh, I'm doing all the work. Cool. This guy's going to sit back and relax and take the grade for all the work that I'm doing just because they knew I was good at, certain lab procedures and things like that. So I kind of get a little scared when I hear partner, but I agree with you. Like when you have that trust, if I could trust that other person was actually going to pull their weight in this partnership that was created, then that would make me feel better. Right.
Absolutely.
But for sure, trust, number one.
Yes. That's a huge part of it. Victor, what experiences have you had on like either end of that spectrum? The situation Nate was talking about where he had to kind of do a little more work than his part, but then mine, which is kind of the idealistic view of what a partnership should look like. What experiences have you had on either ends of those spectrums?
Well, as it relates to marketing partnerships, I've tried different companies. I mean, I have with Scorpion, I have a marketing partnership because there's a trust there. I got to tell you, hey, this is who I am. This is the image I want to portray, and I have to trust that you all will put that out there. And I think exactly what Nate said. There has to be trust, but also everyone got to do the work to make it happen. So I think in partnerships, it's everything for us, with marketing, but also with other attorneys. Is trust is needed and work is needed on both sides.
Yeah.
What kind of experiences did you have with marketing companies before Scorpion? What was that experience like, and how does that compare to what your life is like now with Kate? Your Scorpion.
Yeah. So I have a great relationship with you all, and that's why I continue to stay with Scorpion. Or with some of the other companies, like it was just what we were talking about earlier. It wasn't equal. Like when I would get the leads, they would come in, I would work them, but a lot of times I wasn't getting the quality leads. And so that means that the marketing company wasn't doing their part to get me the quality leads. Because, you can give me 100 leads, but if 90 of them are crap, then you're just wasting my time. And that's a disparity. That's an issue where one part is not doing what they need to do. And I've paid companies that got me hardly no leads, and the leads I did get were crap. And so it's like I'm working over here, but the other side of my partner is not doing their job. And so I've definitely seen those issues, and ultimately it's why I chose to be where I'm at now.
Yeah, and I know, Victor, you were a hard catch to reel in, that's for sure. But, when you did come on board, there was that, conversation that we had with Kate and, people at the firm, Cortesia, where we said, hey, these are things we're going to need from you. And I'm pretty sure you thought, like, you're going to need what from me? And how do you feel like the ask that we had for you really kind of, was that different than what other companies were asking you in the past in terms of like cases that you wanted and things like that?
I do think so. So you all get really detailed about, what type of cases do you want to bring in? How many cases do you want to bring in? How many calls do you want to receive? Just kind of what we're looking for, what I'm looking for. And that was very helpful. And just, you all have a team that's very attentive. I mean, I remember sometimes I would send emails like at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning just to see if somebody was going to respond. And I'm like, gosh, somebody responded like 5-10 minutes later. I was like, oh gosh, okay, what are these people doing? Like they don't sleep over there. Like it was very impressive to me because since I've went through several companies before you all, like I see how great you all are. Like I'm not just saying that just because we're here. I mean, I really, really feel that way. Like I'm a Scorpion customer for life because I appreciate the service and I know what it's like when I'm not getting the service. And I've had so many bad experiences that's like, I can appreciate when I got it good.
It's a double-edged sword because the bad experiences people have before they come to us sometimes will make them really hesitant and guarded and not really go all in, and I used to be a marketing manager and manage my own clients. Like basically I was your Kate, like that's what I did. And there was a marked difference between the clients who like were so hesitant and they were fighting and fighting and fighting, but it was because they had been scarred from other situations they had been in. So it was like therapy, honestly. Like you have to kind of work through these things and like, show people that, hey, you can trust me and you can trust us and we've got your back. And it takes time, to work through that stuff.
One of the reasons I think it was slower for me to come in with Nathan was because of some of the bad experiences that I've had. And I was like, okay, here goes another one. And Nate was very personable and took his time with me and everything. But because of those bad experiences, like you're saying, that double-edged sword, I wasn't as willing to trust. But I'm so glad I did. I mean, because my revenue it's crazy now. Like it's a lot better. I called Nate this morning. I was telling him like, the weakness so good. That's why I was running a little late. I was like, we've been dealing with a lot of clients. We're getting a lot of clients in, and this is a pandemic. Like, it's been pretty good. Yeah. So I love y'all. Only thing make me dislike Scorpion if y'all took my marketing manager away. If y'all took Kate away from me, we're gonna have a problem. Okay, well, they don't value. Yeah. But I got Kate, we cool.
She's amazing. We all love Kate so much. She is a joy to work with. Well, what was the turning point for you? When you kind of realized I am in a safe place and this is different than what I've experienced in the past.
I'll tell you, I think it was that first week. I remember telling Kate, like I could see it when y'all turned the marketing on, y'all turned on to the website, and I think at that time I first started, I was doing PPC as well. But like that first week, like the phone started ringing, and then you can track it to see where the calls are coming from, and so I was like, man, this is pretty good. And then it was consistent. You know what I mean? And then they say people lie, but the numbers don't. The numbers don't lie. Then my numbers went up, and that right there, that was pretty significant. And then the numbers continue to rise. But when you have, when you're pulling in maybe, when you're getting anywhere from 6 to 10 to 1 of your investment, like it's kind of gets no brainer. And I wasn't getting that before. And I think my numbers changed from, I think I ended up doubling like what I was making. The revenue was bringing in prior to you guys, ended up doubling and even going beyond that. And so like, it's just the numbers don't lie. It just makes sense. It makes good business sense. I can like you all day, but when it makes good business sense and you like the people that you're working with, that's just a harmonious environment.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, and I remember that conversation, Victor, because when I first talked to you, I was laughing because you had told me you had like mall kiosk ads, some bus bench ads, all these unconventional forms of advertising that I had never really even thought of doing, but you were trying everything, to grow the business. And you had this vision that you wanted to grow the business. And, we have this idea today of streamlining your marketing because a lot of people think, oh, let's diversify. It's kind of like the stock market. No, it's not. But you try to cast this huge wide net, but you don't track where anything's coming from. At the end of the day, you're probably wasting money, right? Yeah. So when you can streamline that and track everything like you had mentioned and kind of laser focus in on what's working, you've seen it makes a night and day difference.
Yeah. And I don't know if I told you this, but I cut all my other advertising. So I cut all my billboards. I cut all of my TV ads because it just made it smart. I cut my radio ads because dollar for dollar, like working with you all and all my internet advertising, it just makes sense. It's just like if you're barely getting back your investment, getting just a little bit more in your investment somewhere else, and you're getting way more in another place, it just makes good business sense. Yeah. And that's what I saw. So I mean, Kelly, I think that answers your question. When did it click? In the beginning, and then the consistency.
For sure, having that support in harder times is everything. And, obviously we've been going through one of those the past few months, with the pandemic and everything. Victor, what has it been like for you to have that team and the support during arguably the craziest time to be a criminal defense attorney ever?
Well, I would say, first of all, it's great to have the team. I talked to Nathan a lot and Kate, and it's been great. But I will tell you, like, my first quarter, the first quarter of this year, my God, we killed it. I'm taking like 150%, like, over the goal. We had a great first quarter. The second quarter, it wasn't as great. Our numbers went down some, but the first quarter definitely made up for it. And so now we're in the beginning of the third quarter, and it's starting to go really well. But I don't think that I have had a lot of the downside that a lot of other criminal defense firms have had during this pandemic. Obviously, the pandemic has affected all of us. And so my numbers are not what they were in the first quarter, pre-pandemic. But I've still been working and making money. And that's due to, first, I give all credit to my God, because I think grace and mercy and favor, we can't beat that. And so that is ways above anything else that we can ever do. That's my personal opinion. But I think God also helped those that help themselves. And working with a really good team, and you all putting me in the right places to be successful, that just really just, it works itself out. It makes good sense, and it just happens. So I think, like, if somebody had a sucky, marketing team, they're going to really have a bad time during the pandemic. But I think you got a good team. You may not be doing it as good as you were during the pandemic, but you're still going to be doing heads above everyone else.
Because that foundation was there. That strong foundation is everything. Right.
Yeah. And the thing about, I think with marketing, you all have put the little things in along the way. You all been building up the SEO and y'all do my website and everything. And so you've been getting my rankings higher anyway. And so, like, I'm going to do better than a lot of folks because my name is higher on the list. That's just kind of the name of the game. And then, just so many things were already in place that you're going to do well because so many things are already in place. You look at those little things when hell's going on around, you look at those little things that you've done and you're like, okay, this helps sustain me. And I think the things that I put in place, that Scorpion put in place in my campaign, it was extremely beneficial.
Now, Victor, a lot of people probably weren't as fortunate as you. We've had this partnership for we've been working together for almost 4 years now. Yeah, I think it's been. Yeah. What kind of advice might you have for some firms that, didn't have a good partner prior to the pandemic? Right now, they're using this opportunity to make some shifts in their strategy and figure out how to finish 2020. What kind of advice could you give to them?
Just, do their part, answer the phone. When you get the call, answer the phone right then, or call them back, in 10, 15 minutes. Or if you're in court or something, have someone on the staff, call them and say, hey, attorney so-and-so is in court, but he's going to give you a call back today. So just let you know that's definitely going to happen. Having a strong support staff. Without that, if you don't got a support team and your phone it's going to voicemail, like, you're just leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table.
Yeah.
So true. So true. Well, we were talking about trust, and how important that is, and something that I would, tell listeners to really think about. If you're having a period, or you're going through a time right now with whoever you're working with and you don't have that, and right now you're like kind of wondering, like, unpack it, figure out why that is, talk to your marketing company about it, like, figure it out. Communication is everything, because you're going to go through that ebb and flow. It's just, how this business works. Google's going to throw a wrench in our plans one month, and then we're going to recover the next. So having that communication and that ability to, like, work with your team through it and let them know how you're feeling and where you're at, like that's going to cultivate a more effective and honestly just enjoyable relationship. Don't you guys think?
Kelly, and
Couldn't agree more.
And we hadn't talked about communication much, but I think that's a great point that I really need to say something about. So, like through the campaign, like I would get certain calls. I'm like, and I'll tell Kate, I'm like, hey, I'm liking these calls. I'm really liking these, but I'm really not liking these other ones. They're on this other area that I don't really want to practice in. And having that line of communication that she'll take certain things out. Like this, if this, I don't like this, we'll take that out, get rid of that, and we'll focus more on something I'm really liking. But if we're not talking to each other, if I'm not saying, hey, these are the cases that we got coming in, these are the ads that are working, these are the ones that are not, if that line of communication is there, then it's not that equal work thing. It's not both sides working together to get done. If you're just like, hey, I want to make money, so, put something together for me. Like, what the hell? Like, we can't do anything with that. Like, oh, okay, I kind of need a little more information, So I really agree with you that communication is key. And communication is key to any relationship. We think about our personal relationships or, any business relationship. If there's no communication, that relationship's going to die.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think too, Victor, I'll start a conversation. And I think you and I had this where you were like, why is he asking me about specific case types when we're on the phone? Why aren't we just talking about money right now? But it goes to your point of, if these aren't cases that you want to handle, you're not happy. You're doing things that you don't want to do on a daily basis, which this is your life. Why do you want to do that? So we really want to get down to the nitty gritty of those kind of cases that you want. And then, like you said, then Kate keeps filtering out those ones that you don't want, so that at the end of the day, you get this. Your practice is what you want it to be, because we all know there's hundreds of other criminal defense attorneys that all say they do what you do, but they enjoy different things. And that's why each campaign we set up and maintain is drastically different from one to another.
I think for any practitioners that's listening, I think another point is, so when I signed up with Scorpion, I was doing criminal defense, civil rights, personal injury, criminal defense, civil rights, personal injury. I think we're doing appellate as well. We did a little employment law. And so, I think it's really key to one thing you just said, Nathan, is doing what we really like. When I started my firm almost 10 years ago, I was just doing criminal defense because that was the thing I was most passionate about. And through the campaigns, I'm making more money now just doing the area that I like, because now we're just doing criminal defense because we cut those other areas out and we really focus in on it. But because my campaign was so good, I haven't lost any money from it. I haven't lost any revenue, and my revenue is so much greater now. And I'm doing only the area that I like, only the thing that I want to do. And you can't ask for anything better than that. As a lawyer, as a person with a job, you can't ask for anything better than to just do the job that you want to do and not anything else. That's a blessing.
I'm curious how you got to that point, because I know you started off in, criminal defense, and then you grew and added. What made you realize, maybe there's a different way to go about this? Maybe I can actually scale back and do better. How did you arrive there?
Part of it was, turnover rate. So if an attorney left that been here 3 or 4 years, I would have to hire somebody else quickly to do that area, because I only like doing criminal defense. Oh, we did family law as well. That's what it was. I only like doing criminal defense. I didn't enjoy doing personal injury. Civil rights, I enjoy the issues, but it took too long to get the money from it. It took too long to make money from it. And I didn't like doing the paperwork on either. That just ain't me. And so when the attorneys left and I had to hire someone else for that position, I was like, why keep on having to hire someone for a position? Why does it do the one area I like? So if anybody leave, there's no ball being dropped. I don't got to hustle and get somebody else in here to handle this other practice area. If I just do the area I like, then personnel is not going to be an issue, because this is my thing. This is my wheelhouse. There's not going to be any issues going forward with continuity of the client and such.
Yeah. I think that's something that a lot of attorneys, like, they kind of make that assumption. Well, if I'm not making enough money right now, the only option is to add more practice areas. If criminal defense isn't giving me enough, then I've got to add family law or add personal injury. But in reality, in your situation, as a perfect example of this, you don't have to do it that way. And it's actually better to focus in, what do you like doing? What are you really good at? What's your bread and butter practice area? And really give that everything you have.
I think it's actually, I agree with you. I think it's actually a mistake to add additional practice areas, because you're not going to be as knowledgeable about it. You're not going to be as comfortable with it. You're not going to give off that aura of like this is the person I need for this. And also, you're not going to get as many referrals as well. You're not going to get as many referrals from other practitioners, because like, if you're doing everything, if you're a general practitioner, then like, I'm not going to see this case because you're just going to make money off of this, and you're not going to send anything back to me. But if you're known for a certain area, then if I'm known for criminal offense, then this civil rights lawyer, I have some relationships on civil rights lawyer. We feed each other. They do civil rights, I do criminal. It's a hand in hand. I get personal injury matters sometimes. I'm sending out. For personal injury firms, they don't want to touch criminal. Like, so they're sending to me, and so that relationship of trust and communication, that you're not going to steal my client if a practice area come up that I'm doing, that feeds into it. And so I actually think you actually make less money when you're doing too many things. But you can do one thing very well. I think you'll be known for it, and you'll be a better lawyer for it. You'll be a happier lawyer, and you just make more. You can make money in it.
Thinking back, I'm just trying to imagine our listeners, and the situations that they're in right now. If you have an attorney whose primary focus is on growing their practice, what's the best piece of advice you can give them?
Oh man. One of the best pieces of advice I can give is take your time and don't grow too quick. If I can go back to my younger self, my younger lawyer self, I would not have grown so quick. I started adding additional practice areas that I didn't really, want to get involved in, because I was like, hey, I'm making all this money. I guess I got to spend it, and that's not necessarily that would be hard. That's horrible advice to do that. I think I would advise them, take your time, grow at a steady pace. Don't just start hiring all these people, because then your cost is just going to rise up. So take your time, grow at a steady pace. Don't be in a rush. If you're going to be successful, if you're going to have that measure of success, you can have that measure of success without burdening yourself with just a lot more additional cost.
That's really, really, really great advice. Everyone needs to know that and learn from what you've experienced firsthand. That's really important.
Yeah. I had a buddy that he had a highly successful practice. He was a criminal defense attorney. Was doing extremely well, going to bring a lot of business in, making a lot of revenue. But he was selfish. I think another piece of advice I would give is don't be so tightwad that you can't share the wealth. And, hire a support staff, pay them right, treat them right, and then because you got to have somebody answering the phone. If you're bringing in just let's say a person got to practice, they're just by themselves, and they're bringing in $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month or whatever, and they're like really, really happy about that. I'm like, yeah, you're bringing a lot of money, but you are working your butt off for it. Maybe you need to hire one additional attorney. Maybe you definitely need to hire one or two support staff, because somebody got to be answering that phone. And there's a lot of little things motions got to be filed. A lot of things have to happen. And if you want to have a higher enjoyment of life, you need to have some people there to back you up. If that balance is needed, you can't be on call all the time, and you'll never give yourself enough time to rejuvenate. And so you got to have a good balance.
Totally. I know for Nate, his balance is taking long bubble baths This guy.
Nate, I did not know that about you.
Oh my gosh, I love bubble baths, and we literally we're remodeling our house, our new house right now, and I was like, I need a bathtub. I need a soaking bathtub for Epsom salt. So like, forget long walks on the beach. Like, give me a bathtub with Epsom salt, and I'm happy camper. So now I finally get my bathtub of my dreams at 30 years old.
We all have to find ways to relax ourselves, and I think it all goes to the balance.
Yeah. And Victor, you've gotten back into video games, I heard, right? Since COVID started?
Yeah, during the pandemic. So like I had got out of them. Like I had just kind of dropped them off. But when the pandemic happened, it's like, what is there to do? so me and some of my college buddies was like, hey man, let's relive the golden days. Let's bring out the Xbox. Let's get back on Halo. Let's just kill the hell out of each other. So that's what we've been doing. Like, and now it's kind of fell back off because we've been so busy with work. But we still get on now. Friday nights and Sunday evenings. We still get on a little bit and have a little online gameplay. And I win most of the time. Truth,
Of course you do.
You're
a winner.
It is what it is.
True. Well, good. Well, this has been an absolute pleasure. Victor, thank you so much for being here and talking with us today and imparting your wisdom. So many good bits of information that you shared here. Hopefully everyone's been jotting down notes. And if not, good luck. You can replay this whole video.
Watch it in the bath.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bath songs. No, I appreciate you inviting me, especially as being the first one. Like I really, really appreciate it. It was a pleasure. And like, I think there's some things we talked about that'll be helpful to some, and I think some they take with a grain of salt. But I really do appreciate the opportunity just to come and talk, and it's been great. So thank you.
Really appreciate it, Victor.
Here. All right, everyone. Well, that concludes today's episode of the Criminal Defense Show. Hopefully you have taken some good bits of information to put into practice at your law practice. And if you have any other questions or anything at all, we want you to come find us at scorpion.co. That's scorpion.co, no M. And we look forward to talking with you and getting your questions answered. We look forward to you all joining us next time when we talk about the exciting world of reviews and online reputations. Thanks, everybody. Stay safe. Be well.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good one.